Welcome to Overtime with Jared G. and Johnny O. and Jeremy Phillips, former NFL player and title sponsor with Elite Performance Chiropractic, with us through at least all the NFL season, playoffs, and Super Bowl. And so, Jeremy, first of all, thanks for coming back and tell us about Elite Performance Chiropractic.
Yeah, Elite Performance Chiropractic. We're located right here on West Ridge Road in Battleground, right beside the Village Tavern, treating people from all walks of life. Grandma's trying to keep up with her grandkids, somebody trying to run their first 5K, all the above. So we've been serving the Triad for 17 years now, and really enjoy doing it. I've been treating patients all morning, so we're busy here, and we enjoy doing it.
Excellent. You guys do great work. All right, we're going to give our divisional playoff picks. First, we want to give a moment of silence for Johnny O and his Eagles season being over.
I am very happy it's over. And you know what? Kudos to you guys for not harassing me too much after that game. You know how intense it is watching your team. And I can't even – the only person I can watch my Eagles with is Kim, and she's fine. But I was standing up most of that game. They stink. Thank God they're done. They never recuperated after week 4, and just give me AJ, and then we're going to end this. AJ Brown needs to be gone, and you guys got it. He's worthless to the Eagles right now. And Petula, I mean, do I even have to say it? Come on, man, with the freaking offensive calls he was making. I just don't get me started. Why did you mention Eagles?
Because of that reaction. Jalen Hurts, I believe this will be his 11th offensive coordinator since college.
Yeah, every year.
And I don't think he cost him the game. I think you mentioned off before we started a bunch of drop passes, a lot of mistakes and penalties, and
five drop passes on third down.
Yeah.
So,
they ain't going to get it done. And you still had a chance to win. You still had a chance to win.
They still had a chance to win. But,
yeah. And I know you've seen the clip of that young man afterwards.
Oh,
he's like 10 years old.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we'll post on our social media. It's great.
I've read a lot of rumors. It's funny is I've read a lot of kind of rumors or, hypotheticals in regards to the A.J. Brown situation. And what I think is funny is I take a step back after thinking through some of these, and I'm like, well, none of these involve him staying.
Right.
Obviously an interesting one is him ended up in a New England uniform next year and reuniting with Vrabel in New England. I thought that was quite interesting. That could maybe have some legs. I don't know.
Right.
New England really doesn't have that marquee name receiver. I mean, They got Diggs, who's, obviously an excellent wide receiver and stuff, but his kind of reputation's been tarnished with some of his social stuff and everything like that. So, that could be a situation that plays out. Who knows?
Yeah. And Johnny, to be fair, you guys don't win the Super Bowl last year without A.J. Brown, because every game he played in, after not playing the first couple of games, y'all won every single game.
I know, but we won every other game too, except for 2.
That's true.
You make a good point, but
Barkley was insane as well last year. But yeah,
oh yeah, I'm done with him. So was Hurts. I mean, the team was perfect last year. That's what I expected this year, and that's never going to happen again. So
okay, I just want to get
fine.
Because my team season was done early. My son's season was done early, and then Jeremy's team escaped.
Oh,
utter humiliation.
Hanging by a thread.
I tell you, I've seen the Rams thump teams this year, and I've seen them lose to the Panthers, and of course I saw them get a scare from the Panthers. But traveling west to east is never easy. And I'm gonna tell you, the Panthers are starting to make a name for themselves. Apparently, that place was electric. There was a loud stadium and everything. So I think everything, outside of the loss, but everything, kind of went well for the Panthers this past weekend, and I'm sure Stafford and company and McVay, they were ready to get on the bus and get the hell out of there with that win, because that was hard fought. It was. The Panthers didn't make it easy on them. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right.
So let's save the Bills and Broncos for our last pick, because then we'll go into the Josh Allen thing. But why don't we start off with Jeremy's Rams against the Bears, and the Rams are 3.5-point favorites going into Chicago. What are your thoughts?
I like the pick. I think the Rams. Ironically, I think the Rams match up with Chicago better than they did Carolina, if that makes sense. Carolina's defense, I mean, kind of off the radar going into the season. That the defensive coordinator in Carolina did an excellent job with them this past year with the pieces he had in place. Dan Morgan, was very gambled and kind of depended on some young guys on that defense, and I think it planned out well for him. And it gave the Rams, who's arguably got the best offense in the NFL, it gave them some trouble. But I do like the matchup against Chicago. Soldier Field is not an easy place with weather and everything like that. I don't think it's a more hostile environment than what the Panthers presented to them this past weekend. But the weather's always a factor in Chicago. Definitely the coldest place I've ever played, with the wind coming off that lake. But it should be interesting to see. But I think the Rams come out of this with a more convincing win than they did this past weekend.
Okay.
What do you got, Jared?
Man, the Bears are confusing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a confusing team to kind of.
Let's talk about it. Where did Green Bay go wrong? Green Bay has a 21-6 point lead. What was y'all's feelings with that? Because I watched that and I watched this just kind of collapse happen. Like, what do y'all think happened there?
They watched the Philadelphia Eagle a couple games this year.
Trying to copy them.
It always goes back to the Eagles, right?
No, I mean, I felt like
they get out of their original game plan. Like, I couldn't put a finger on what I thought happened there.
I think it's Ben Johnson with Chicago, man. The guy just knows how to figure it out, man. He is one hell of an offensive mind, and I think that's what it was. But the Packers just ran out of gas, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's bound to be some adjustments defensively too. I mean, they gave up 3 touchdowns, and then they had to stop them. I mean, obviously they made some adjustments offensively to put points on the board, but that was just a weird game. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, gosh, is this a big enough collapse? Is LaFleur worried about his job after this? Like, this was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think we mentioned last time they won, and if the playoffs were a 16 playoff, they wouldn't have made the playoffs the last 3 years. But
Sure.
It is a 17 playoff, and so they've made it fair and square. But these teams are barely making in. But then he's also been to 2 NFC Championship games. I mean, I think he's a good coach. I don't know. It seemed like the adjustments were made by the Bears, and then it felt like once it got close, Jordan Love, who has experience, got tight. It just seemed like they weren't making any plays in the second half, like nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like the young kid Caleb Wilson just made more plays than Love did down the stretch. Obviously, it's almost like, and it was obviously overshadowed with the year Saquon had last year, but Jacobs had a hell of a year last year, and it's almost shades of what happened to Saquon this year. Jacobs was a little bit banged up. He had this knee contusion or whatever that hemmed him up for about 3 or 4 games or whatever. But it's almost like, much the same argument we've made on this show with Philly and Saquon. They didn't use Jacobs a lot, and particularly not this game. They got away from him with the game plan and stuff. So I don't know. It was, I'm running parallels here, and it's funny we're talking about these games back to back with Philly and Green Bay. It's almost kind of like they had the same issues at running back position. They just didn't use them enough, and they didn't have the same years they did the previous year.
Yeah.
But maybe Chicago's this good, man. I mean, they are a hell of a football team.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, Ben Johnson's going to have them ready at least for the second half, because the first half seems like they struggle. But I'm going to pick the Rams. I think the Rams were built for this, and they got their scare out of the way, and unless it's a snowstorm,
Yeah.
then I think they'll be fine.
I've been Rams, all year really. They've been looking a little beatable the last month of the season, though. They were looking so good, but then now they're looking a little beatable. Still an outstanding team. Matt Stafford is, MVP without a doubt, as he showed in Carolina. But I think the Bears prevail. I think they make it to the NFC Championship game, and Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams make it to that big game, that one more game before the Super Bowl. So I'm actually picking the Bears because they're home 34-28.
Okay. You got a score and everything.
Oh,
So we
yeah.
have 2 for the Rams, 1 for the Bears. All right. Well, let's move on to another game. To me, this is going to be a tough one. The 49ers at Seahawks.
Ooh.
And I guess I can go first on this one. Sometimes with a bye, you come out rusty in San Francisco, is going to be prepared. But I think Kittle, that's just the latest injuries, I think is too much to overcome. They'll be prepared. But going to Seattle in a fully healthy Seattle, I think, this is it's just too much to overcome for a overachieving 49ers team this year who's been horribly depleted with injuries.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on I think the 49ers run out of gas this game. I think they finally run out of gas. I think turnovers by Brock Purdy are going to be huge in this game with that Seattle defense. I think that's just my opinion. If he throws 1 or 2 interceptions, I think they would just absolutely be done. And the Seahawks and Sam Darnold, they've just been playing really good all year. And I think this game brings Sam Darnold just to that next level to make it to that NFC Championship. And with that defense and the way the Seahawks have been playing, I got the Seahawks winning that game. They're 7.5-point favorites. I thought that was kind of high. But I got them.
I can tell you why. I didn't realize how bad the stats were. They kind of hit on it a little bit during the game, but I went and looked it up. San Fran has no pass rush at all.
Oh, yeah, true.
And, of course, Nick Bosa's hurt, but if you look at their stats on defense, they have no pass rush. Like, they're like they're bottom quarter of the league in sacks. It's crazy. So I think really and truly, they've just been outscoring people, but I think really and truly the difference in this ball game is if you say both of them's offensive are equal. The difference in this ball game is Seattle is healthy and they've got an outstanding pass rush. Their front 8 is phenomenal. And it's almost like, and their secondary is okay. Then, their secondary almost carried them in their Super Bowl years. The Russell Wilson year, Legion of Boom, all of that. Now it's almost flip-flop. Like their front 8 seems like they're carrying them more so than the secondary. And I think that's the difference in this ball game, and the reason for the point spread is because if you really look at the stats of the 49ers, they have no pass rush. Like that Nick Bosa injury, I know he's just one player, but that really, really, really changed the dynamics of that whole defense.
Absolutely. No.
Yeah.
And, them being in Seattle, that's got to be one of the toughest places to play. When the team is that good and you got to go to Seattle, look out, man. But I got Seattle by 10, 27-17. I think they hold the 49ers to 17 points, and the Seahawks look like a very strong Super Bowl possibility.
No, I think yeah, we're definitely in agreement on that. 49ers have surprised us, but I think it's just too much to overcome. All right, now this game to me, and we'll start with you, Johnny. The Texans at the Patriots. What do you think?
Patriots are favored by 3. Well, of course, that's in New England. The Texans defense is frightening, man. I know there's a lot of good defenses out there, Seattle and, the Eagles and Denver and all, but my God, this team, where did they come from?
I know.
And it's so hard for me to go against the Patriots now because they are really, really looking good. Their defense is also very good.
Yeah.
It keeps them in the game. But I think finally Drake May gets stopped by this the Texans defense, and Texas wins 20-10. And I think it's just a stepping stone for these Patriots, because I got to say, that team, we're going to be dealing with that team for quite a few years ahead here. But I don't think they make it to the big AFC championship game. I'm going to go with the Texans, and it's all about defense, and they got enough offense to score enough points to win. So I'm going Houston.
Okay. Jeremy, what do you think?
I'm going New England. I don't like Stroud. I think he throws, he gives the ball up too much. And I think if he does that against New England, it's going to be a long day for him. I just think it's slowly, both defenses are solid. Both have weapons, but I think the difference is at the quarterback position, and I think Drake May pulls this out. I think it's going to be low scoring, like 17-10 in favor of New England. That's where I'm at with this. But I think New England's got enough firepower and enough weapons on defense. They win a turnover battle against C.J. Stroud, and I think they win this game.
Okay. The Texans end up winning 30-6 over Pittsburgh, but it was a one-score game in the fourth quarter.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then the wheels just came off. Now, watching the game, obviously Aaron Rodgers is not mobile, and I think Drake May will be able to have some escapability, or obviously way more escapability than Aaron Rodgers. With that being said, we do know the Patriots up until this recent victory and then beating the Bills, they played the easiest schedule in the NFL. And I know people are like, oh, okay, whatever, here we are now. But I think I agree with Johnny. I think this is the test. You're going against the number one defense in the NFL, and they are some dogs up front. Their front seven's insane. And, I don't care who you are, if you don't have time to throw the ball. We've seen that in the years that Tom Brady seemed invincible, and he went against the Giants, and they didn't have time to throw the ball, and he looked pedestrian. Both the Super Bowls that Mahomes lost, when he didn't have time to throw the ball, he looked pedestrian. If May didn't have time to throw the ball and being young, I think Houston, unless Stroud, I agree with you, Jeremy, does what he did and has 4 turnovers. That's the only reason I think Pittsburgh was even in the game at all. But if he can protect the ball, I think that Houston's going to win this and move on. And quite frankly, setting up for a very boring possible Super Bowl if it ends up being Houston and Seattle down the road. I think that people are not going to be interested in that. But anyway.
What do you back to Jeremy? CJ Stroud or Bryce Young? Who do you take right now, right today?
I don't like either one of them, but I didn't like either one of them coming out of the draft. So, Stroud's – I'm all about stretching the field, and I don't know if it's play calling or what, but Bryce Young does not stretch the field. It drives me crazy.
No.
So I guess I would go Stroud. I don't know. I would be looking into free agency quite heavily.
Yeah.
I would go Stroud as well, but it's a lot. 2 years ago, if you asked me this question, I would say Stroud by a landslide, but it has definitely gotten a little closer. But I kind of like CJ Stroud. I could see him just doing enough to get this Texans to the next level.
Yeah, and another thing to validate y'all's point from an offensive line perspective, New England's got 2 rookies starting on the left side of their offensive line. Now, granted, one of them was a number 1 draft pick, kid out of LSU. But they've struggled. They're rookies. They've struggled, and this Houston defensive line is nothing to play with. So it's going to be a big prep week for those guys and stuff like that. But I like New England in this game. I really do.
Nice.
Okay.
All right, next game, the Bills in Denver. They're traveling to Denver against the Broncos, and the Broncos are a 1.5 favorite. Jared, what do you got?
My gut tells me Buffalo. But if I had to put money on it, I'm going to go with the Broncos at home with a Super Bowl winning coach and with a stellar defense. And, you can't, and I know we're talking about this in a minute, but Josh Allen, he's Superman, but sometimes there's kryptonite. He can't do it all. And I think Denver, I think they've had a lot of time to put a game plan together, having the bye. Although, like we mentioned earlier, it could be rusty, but I just think Sean Payton off a bye at home in the playoffs with a top 5 defense. I think it'll be a close game, but I think Denver's going to eke one out. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think they're eke one out and move on to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah. I think I'm going with my heart, I guess, man. I am just really rooting for Buffalo. And I was never a Buffalo fan, even when I lived up in New York. But this Josh Superman Allen, I think this is his turn. These other teams that are out, Kansas City and Baltimore, kind of opening it up. But the Broncos do scare me. I think the Broncos could definitely get in his way here, especially being in Denver. But I think he's also nursing some injuries, Josh is. But I think he prevails. The Broncos do have a great defense, but, they gave up – I looked at a couple games. They gave up 34 points to Jacksonville. And, they've had a lot of low-scoring games too. But I think the Bills score enough, and I'm looking at the Bills winning – over Bo Nix, the rookie quarterback, and the Bills win 28-20.
Okay. All right.
Jeremy?
I just look at it from a fan perspective and what's going to sell the most tickets, what's the best story. And I mean, if you go by Jared's predictions over here, you got Denver and Houston in the AFC Championship.
Woo.
It's like,
no one wants to see that outside of Denver and Houston.
Exactly. And so, I just think it's kind of Allen's year. I'm going Buffalo in this game. It may be kind of the feel-good pick. I don't know, because Denver's rightfully, they're good in their own right. They got a great edge rushers out there and stuff like that. I just don't trust Nix, and maybe he undeservingly so because he's done nothing but win this year.
Yep.
But I'm going to go Buffalo. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be around 27-20, much like Johnny O said. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think we're going to tweak out some touchdowns at the end, just people playing the field position battles and stuff like that. But and you talk about Allen and injuries at this stage of the game, man. If you've played the whole season, everybody's got something going on.
Yeah.
Banged up shoulder, banged up wrist, knee, something. Everybody's got something going on. So if he's playing, that's no excuse. Get out there and play. And I like Buffalo to pull this game out. And looking at it from a fan perspective, I think the NFL's probably hoping for that too.
Yeah,
for sure they are.
I would think so. But I agree with you with the injuries. Everybody's injured, but and we're going to get into this in the next segment. But Josh does so much, man. He can't have too many limitations. But before we go on to the next segment, let's mention a couple more of our sponsors. Estate Jewelry and Loan, something old, something new. Estate Jewelry has a great selection of new and estate jewelry, and you can really find a nice, unique piece for any occasion. Go there, if you have a jewelry box full of junk that you think, bring it to Brian. He will find something for you. He found a little something for me in my mom's old jewelry box that really surprised me. So he does take care of you. Just tell him we sent you. They're located over at 2511 Battleground Ave. We also have Salsarita's Fresh Mexican Grill. Got Miguel over there. Tell him that we sent you. They're located in High Point at the Palladium and in Greensboro in the Target Shopping Center on New Garden Road. Food truck, catering, daily specials. Go to salsaritas.com. And then For Real 24, real golf, indoors, anytime. Greensboro's premier 24/7 indoor golf facility offering iconic golf courses and state-of-the-art equipment. The hitting area is awesome. It's got moving floor, ball retrieval, auto tee, multi-service turf, all kinds of good stuff. Go see my man Clay Jordan over there. You can join as a member or just play 18 holes on any one of those incredible golf courses that he offers.
Excellent. All right. So, Jeremy, as our guest, what do you think about Josh Allen? Do you think it's his year, his best chance to win the Super Bowl?
I guess best chance, but the pundits out there, they're gonna put an asterisk on this and be like, you won one when Mahomes wasn't in the playoffs, when all these adversaries of his that they've created with these storylines aren't in the playoffs. So, but I think you win a Super Bowl, you win a Super Bowl, man. I don't care what it is. I'd like to see him win one. Personally, I like the kid. I think he's great. But I want to see my Rams win one too. I want to see Stafford win another one. So, but if it's got to be an AFC team, man, I'd like to see Buffalo win one. God knows their fans have went through enough. It'd be cool to see them get one.
Yep, no doubt.
I just love to see the video replay of that parade and everything with all that crazy stuff there.
Ooh.
Bill's Mafia is going to be up to. Holy cow.
My gosh, yeah.
Oh, that would
be
great.
Yeah, I think the NFL, probably the best storyline, I know it's not one of the things we're talking about, best storyline for, since you kind of brought it up, would be Chicago versus Buffalo.
Oh, wow.
You have two franchises that, Chicago's won Super Bowls, but the Bills have not, and it's been a long time, for Chicago, right? And so you'd have these two diehard franchises with good stories, good and really great quarterbacks meeting, and then the best story would be Buffalo coming out on top, winning their first Super Bowl ever. Now, with that being said, I don't think this is Josh Allen's best year. I know I don't think it's his best team. I don't think it's the best team he's been on. I think that team that, they went up on Kansas City with like 18 seconds to go, and all they had to do was get a stop. Like, just not let them get in field goal range, 18 seconds or under. I think that was the best team he's been on. That team could have easily won the Super Bowl, but it didn't. So I don't think it's his best chance. I get it with you don't have Lamar Jackson, you don't have Mahomes, you don't have Burrow, but the NFC, you got Matthew Stafford, and you have maybe the MVP with a young Drake. Yeah, like you said, you win a Super Bowl, you win a Super Bowl. There's no easy path.
No easy path, no matter who's out of it, but I think maybe his mindset, hey, this is my chance. I'm going to give it. Of course, he gives it all he has all the time. But boy, I again just would love to see it. I think the Mafia, the Bills Mafia deserves this. And Josh Allen will do everything he possibly can to get them to this game. But with Kansas City and Baltimore out of there, but man, they still got to deal with the Broncos, the Texans, the Patriots, who ended up in first place in their division. There's so much going on. But I got a weird feeling that it is his year, and at least make it to the Super Bowl, get to that next, get over that hump and make it to that Super Bowl. And have that 2 weeks of, talk about Buffalo, and then anything can happen in the Super Bowl. So I'm rooting for him. I think he can do it. I just hope some of those little nagging injuries don't hinder what he, that he's not going to run as much and do those dives and all kinds of stuff that he needs to do to beat the Broncos. So we shall see. But go Bills. I'm all about the Bills.
All right. Excellent. All right, who wins the national championship?
All right, hold on. A couple more sponsors, and we'll go to that. Jimmy Snow's Imperial Marketing Solutions. Any business owner out there, treat yourself this season with some IT hardware, desktops, laptops. He's selling them for $395. Just call Jimmy at 315-345-8349. And Jimmy really thinks he's a sports guru. He listens to us all the time, and he just loves hearing his name on this. California Burritos Express and Bar, offering a full bar with margaritas and draft beer and serving very generous portions of Mexican food. And they got a great dining room with all kinds of TVs. It's a great place to go watch some games. They're located over on Spring Garden Street. And Marco will take good care of you. So, yeah, let's go to the next segment. Indiana, the powerful Indiana Hoosiers against the Miami Hurricanes. Talk to me, Jared. Who do you got?
My gut is Indiana, and I know that's a very, very safe pick. However, when I look back on the season, I think they had 2 or 3 games that were 3-point games. In my mind, I should say, I feel like they've blown everyone out. But they've had some close games, including the Ohio State game. It was a 3-point game, and so in the regular season. And then they had a game early. Maybe Penn State was a 3-point game at Penn State.
That's what I was saying. Was Penn State the one where the guy made the phenomenal catch in the back of the end zone? Was that?
I believe so.
Yeah,
Saved the perfect season. Yep.
So they've had some close calls. Ohio State. There's nothing to be ashamed of that. But I like their coach, Signetti or whatever. That guy is like this dude. He believes in himself. He bets on himself, and he says, "Google me." And he's a winner. And I think it's fantastic. He shows very little emotion except for like sternness. But then after the game, I think they're a team you want that I'm rooting for because their quarterback is so likable and so humble, borderline corny, super efficient, and their defense is sick. No one's talking about Indiana's defense. Indiana's defense. It looks like NFL players against middle schoolers sometimes. I'm like, how are they in the backfield so often? So I pick Indiana.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you just said. And the big thing was that defense, they're just rolling over people. I mean, they held Bama to 3 points. I mean, and when you say, the blowout victories, that's because you're just seeing what you just saw. 38-3 over Alabama, okay?
Yeah.
56-21 over Oregon. I mean, a 56 freaking spot on those guys. Signetti with that game face. They are just without one 5-star player on that team again, which is incredible. But he has done such a great job. And with his little Heisman Trophy winner, Fernando Mendoza, Miami's going to be tough. There's no doubt about it. I don't think Indiana's going to put a 56 spot up on Miami defense, but they're going to score. They're going to do it. And Indiana is going to be whatever parade they have after they win the national championship. And then the Heisman Trophy winner, Mendoza and Coach Signetti will then be with the Las Vegas Raiders next year in the NFL.
You think Signetti's going to make the jump to the NFL?
If I hope he doesn't, but man, how the only way I would want him to do it is if him and Mendoza played for the Raiders with Tom Brady, kind of making the call on that.
Yeah,
that'd be fascinating. Yeah,
I mean, I'm with Jared. The safe pick's Indiana. I mean, they're rolling. Get me wrong, I'm exhausted. I've been exhausted from it for probably over a year now. I am tired of this extra year from the COVID mess. Like, when is this cycle out? Like,
right.
I read the other day, and I don't know if I mentioned this with Johnny or if it's been between since we did the last podcast. Indiana's average age of their team is like 23 years and 3 months.
Wow.
The average age of the Green Bay Packers is 25 years and 1 month. I mean, there's grown men on this team.
Yeah.
So, and I'm tired of it. Like, go pro or graduate and go to corporate America. Or go to grad school. This is crazy. 6 and 7 years of college is absolutely asinine. I mean, my wife will tell you the whole COVID thing. It changed me. I'm a bitter old man, a lot younger than I ever thought I would be. And This thing just adds to it. It's like, when are we going to be done with this COVID crap? I
know
these kids, and maybe it's starting to come into fruition with Trinidad. He was applying for like a 8th year of college or something the other day, and he finally got denied.
Yeah.
And like there's 2 other marquee guys, and one of them got denied earlier this week, and then the third one they think he's going to be denied by the NCAA. But I'm just over this. I am over 23 and 24-year-old guys playing in college. This is nuts.
I agree with you, but these 22, 23, and 24-year-olds are saying this is where I can make money. I'm not. Some of them can't. Yeah, they can't go. They're not going to play in the NFL. They're making a shitload of money right here in the NCAA.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like Baycock with Carolina. You know.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's not a position for him. There's not a position for him in the NBA. Like the NBA does not have a kind of a true big man anymore.
Right.
You know,
especially a below the rim big man, because he's kind of below the rim
for
big
sure.
Man.
Yeah.
And so like if he's getting paid $1 million, $2 million, I don't know how much that was early NIL, so probably not as much as they are now. But if he's making $1 million, $2 million bucks in college, of course, stay forever. You know, if you can pull it off. And he was able to kind of pull off an extra year or two with the whole COVID thing. But like, I mean, we're going in our 6th year now of when COVID started. Like, when does this crap run its cycle and we're out of here and we start recruiting 18-year-olds again? This is crazy.
It might be.
You're very right on that. Oh my God.
Well, and Beck is 7 years in college.
Yeah.
Miami.
But it was so
he has a
refreshing
teammate that was in middle school when he was a freshman, or he was 12 when he was a freshman.
The kid that made the ridiculous catch from Miami the other day is a freshman, and everybody was looking at him like he was a unicorn or something. You know, it's like, oh my God, he's 18. You know, it's like, well, man, I want to get back to where that's the norm, man. Like, you know, I don't know. But I mean, Cignetti's got a team of grown men. They may not be 5 stars, but hell, when they came out of high school, they may be old enough they weren't even ranking 5 stars back then. I don't know. Like,
true. That's right. That's a good point.
Sorry, I went off on this tangent with all this COVID stuff and these extra years and stuff. I am ready to be done with this crap.
Now we know what your wife puts up with. Holy
God, she just shakes her head. I'm like, this damn COVID mess, you know, not just sports, but everything. But
we joked about it real quick, Jeremy. We joked about it. I remember Johnny made the point. It was Baycott senior year about how the starting 5 for the Tar Heels were older than the starting 5 for the Thunder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Legit
older. Yeah.
Crazy.
It's
real
nuts.
quick, talking about Miami, okay, and Carson Beck. Who's the Alabama quarterback? Ty Williams, or what's his name?
Something,
Simpson, right? Is it?
Simpson. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Miami's offering him $6.5 million to come to Miami next year. I mean, $6.5 million.
So he has intentions to go to the NFL, correct?
I don't know.
I think he's informed everybody that he has intentions to go to the NFL. And what that means is Alabama, a school like that has its own film crew or whatever, they'll start sending his tapes in. And I think the NFL, much like the NBA has been doing for years, they will grade your film and give you a projection of where they see you falling in the draft.
Gotcha.
So these young kids can make educated decisions on whether to enter the draft or not. He didn't jump off the screen at me like he's a first-round pick. No. So
good stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what the average age is for Miami. I mean, obviously Carson Beck probably screws up the average a little bit. Him being in his 7th, 8th year of college, I don't know, but. You know, sorry to our fans out there for me to going on my old man tangent about this COVID stuff. I mean, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. So
what I'm seeing, it says Miami's 20. The average age is 20, if that's true.
Okay.
That's
all right.
So they skew younger for sure.
So
that's good.
All right, guys. Another
awesome.
good show. Appreciate it, man. We'll see you next week. And boy, we got a lot of good football coming up again this week. So
we'll have another week. Well, no, the national championship will be played a week. It should be some crazy stuff with the remaining of this week, any storylines that come out with this college game approach and stuff like that. So this should be cool.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
We're not talking overtime pay. We're talking the overtime play. The big stories, the big plays, the big drama. We got Jared, D, and Johnny